Let's get a question out of the chat. Don's got two questions. What can individuals do to start a personal brand, and how will a person know that their personal brand is good or working? Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah, so it's a great question. So a couple things. Like I said before, one of the, and I talk about this in the 10 Ks of personal branding. Um, you know, you got to really decide what you want to be known for. So let's start. So Don, you think about the question. If I had to ask you, what are 3 words that best describe the lasting impression that you want to have on someone after an encounter with you? Right, that's the question. Right. So someone meets Dawn Fingers, determined Dawn, and she is, and she's extremely analytical. She is extremely creative, and she has an amazing ability to manage problems, to solve problems. So problem solver, creativity, analytical. So if that's what you want to be known for, those words, and you tell people, listen, I'm driven, dedicated, determined Dawn. One of the things I pride myself on is my ability to creatively solve problems with an analytical focus on driving a result. And I can help you to crunch the numbers and make some science out of it so you can make business decisions. Now you're telling people what to look for, so you know what you're known for. You're consistent, but then you got to laser that to a problem that you can be known for solving. And when in an unsolicited way, when someone says, "Hey, Don, you really had a great insight on that. I really like the way that you think." Boom, it's good validation. "Hey, Don, I really like the creative way that you approach that problem." Boom, that's validation. Dawn gets it done. She solves problems. That's validation. You should hear the words that you want to be known for back about you organically, kind of like Whole Foods, organically, and that's validation for your brand. I know, as an example, I will get the word energy. I will get the word energy in any room. And, whether I told someone to look for it or not, but it's validation. But I also to tell them is I want to be known for my energy and my engagement, and my thought leadership. So Don, so that's one way to help. And the other way, I think your question was also just around, how do you know it's working? You have to work it. You have to work it. You have to work your brand. You have to be consistent. You have to show up in those particular ways. But then you're going to have an opportunity to come back, and people are going to say, "Hey, why did you hire me? Why did you put me on this assignment?" And they're going to reveal, and it's going to be consistent with your brand.
Yeah, no, that's great insight. Similar question from Don also is one of the big questions is any advice for people who don't like the spotlight or are uncomfortable speaking about themselves? You touched on this, but this would be a great one.
Yeah. A lot of people, let's face it, a lot of people, they don't like to toot their own horn, or they don't know, aren't comfortable with it. Sometimes, you have to brag about yourself, but you don't really want to. You don't want to seem, arrogant or off-putting to your team. You want to stay humble, and even cultural. Sometimes it's cultural. Put your head down, do the work. Someone's going to tap you, and one day you're going to get promoted. And you could be waiting a long time. And there are other people out there. People, Sierra Parks, Brooke Avila, courageous Kim Ellis, who is bringing the courage. We need someone who is courageous enough to take on this assignment. Boom! I know somebody that's courageous Kim, and and all she did was brand herself as "I'm courageous Kim." But you're stuck doing the work with your head down, waiting for somebody to tap you, to pick you up.
Yeah.
But they come to courageous Kim. You've got to be known for something. So if you're an introvert, you or someone who doesn't necessarily like to toot your own horn, the word advice is a really key way. So here's how it works. Say Cody was my boss, and I say, "Hey Cody, I'd like to get your advice. A project I worked on created $5 million of extra new revenue for the organization. I'd like to get your advice on how we could take the best practice of that particular sales process to help other parts of our company grow." Now, all I did was tell Cody how good I did. And it puts Cody in a position to say, "Hey, tell me more." Boom. Now I can talk about, "Hey, listen, there's a relationship that I had that I brought into the organization. It turned into a mutually beneficial relationship for our team. And now we've got extra revenue coming." And that leads you on the path to growth. So the word advice is a great key intersector for those who aren't really comfortable tooting their own horn, but they have to, because your success is attached to cascading success for others. So that's one. We're in this world, Cody, managing your virtual brand. So introverts are heroes in this. I mean, this has been a heaven sent for introverts.
Yeah.
for introverts, because you don't, the chat, you can be loud in the chat. You can be a loud, what I call in the book, a loud listener, and a loud listener. You can be ultra engaging in the chat. And even though you hold on to your introvert nature.
Yeah.
So if you're introvert, so that's one. The other thing I would say, Don, is be an unexpected benefit. If you are an introvert and you don't necessarily like tooting your own horn, when you do things that people don't expect, give them information that they didn't ask for, but it's valuable, all of a sudden you become a necessary ingredient, an unexpected benefit, and they will come to you because you gave them an unexpected way. So you ask yourself every day, what is something that they don't expect to get from me, but I'm giving it to them? That's another way to shape your brand, especially when it's tough tuning your own horn.
Yeah, no, that's great. And that hit that question that Brooke had. Amy has a question. It's when revamping your resume to articulate your personal brand, what's the best way to do that?
So a couple of things. I think we branded hundreds of resumes through a site called rehabmyresume.com. We're helping people during the pandemic. One of the things that I think is really important is a lot of people say, hey, here's what I do, right? Here's what I do. And they list a whole bunch of job duties that they had and roles that they held. But what they don't do is say, here's what I help organizations accomplish. It's very different. It's a subtle but very different thing. Here's what I do, but here's what I help organizations accomplish. So if you're saying I'm a financial analyst, that's what I do. But I help organizations to reduce expenditures and capitalize on market opportunities where they can grow, and build new revenue. Now you are attached with a problem that you help a company solve based on a need that they've identified. So when you're branding your resume, it's important early on, especially early on when you give them a summary. It's important to position yourself as, this is who I am. This is what I help organizations to achieve. Right? It's a very different thing than saying, this is who I am. This is the roles I've held. This is the jobs that I've been placed at. This is what I help organizations achieve. Companies hire you for what you help them achieve based on a need that they know that they've articulated that they have. So when you look at your resume, you have to ask yourself the question, does my resume tell an employer what I can help them achieve based on a need that they've told me in the world that they need to accomplish? That's how you rebrand your resume. So that's one. And then secondly is, we're in a world where tracking systems take over, bots take over. So 75% of resumes aren't even seen by a human. They're kicked out by a computer. So by a bot. So you have to brand your resume with the keywords that are aligned with the job description. So you look at a job description and you look at creative, strategic, leadership value, insightful, analytical, change agent. All those words have to also be embedded in your resume, and you have to have a one-to-one match, and that helps.
Yeah, that's really powerful, Kaplan. One of the things I coach people on all the time is make sure you're speaking in the language that the business understands, right? Is it the language of impact? It's the language of results, and so they can understand it. And so I think what you're saying is spot on and really helpful for the team. I love the way you kind of put it there.